Did something happen
Yeah,
this
right.
week? Was that good enough? Yeah. I'm gonna do that every time we start. I'm gonna do my Tucker Carlson. What happened
Oh
this
my
week?
god.
So
Yes, man.
so let's talk about it, man. So last time we spoke was last Thursday because the day
I think
before
so.
we had a power outage because of cold weather.
Yep.
And in Texas, we don't get cold weather like this. So that
Yeah.
went into we got our lights back on. We did a quick pod in like the middle of the night. Then we made our plans for next week for the following week. We say we're gonna play some Apex. We were going to
Yeah, boy.
we had plans for Valentine's Day. Uh damn. And tell me how your experience went.
So Valentine's Day was pretty dope.
Yeah.
We actually was able to do the Valentine's Day, even though I personally do not celebrate like holidays and stuff like that.
I hear you.
That's just me, right? But my wife cooked, and my son, she told my son wanted to take her on a date. So she was like, "You want to take me on a date? You got to dress up." So then he come around here and tell me that he's taking mommy on a date. So I was like, "I can't come." She was like, "I'm not dressed like that." So I dressed
Ooh.
up. We had a date in the house, right? Date.
Yeah.
It was pretty dope. Pictures. I don't think I posted any pictures, but she did.
She did.
I'll post some pictures
We
later.
know.
But yeah, so you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Um, went to sleep, woke up. I was offering to everybody, hey, y'all, lights went out. Obviously, temperatures went down. 1 o'clock that morning, we woke my son up, took him outside, look at the snow. Then also took him in the morning when it was even more like snow on the ground. It looked all bright and stuff like that. Took him outside, took pictures. Cool. Everybody was like, oh, some people was like, they got power off, all that kind of stuff like that. I was like, hey, y'all can come over here. You're like, it's all good. I understand. I don't care. We can have everybody over here. Just find a pocket on the floor.
Yeah.
Stuff happen. You gotta survive however you can. And then that night,
Was that Monday
bro,
or Sunday?
Monday.
Okay.
Monday. Yep, Monday night. Um, yeah, I think it was Monday night, and power went out, and we was just like, you know what? Maybe it's just like one of those rolling things. It's gonna come back on. So we all got in bed together so we can stay warm
Mm-hmm.
and try to keep the warmth that was in the house. Uh, and went to sleep. It was actually too warm, so warm that I had to take the covers off because I don't know, for some reason the house didn't get well. My wife, she put like covers and stuff under covers,
Mm-hmm.
towels, all that kind of stuff under the doors and the seals of the windows and all that kind of stuff like that. So
Dang.
that helped a lot too. So a lot of the heat stayed in the house. But when we woke up, still no power. So we had to take off. We couldn't leave. Had my son in the house that was getting colder. Because when
Yeah.
we woke up, it was colder. Getting colder with no power and all that kind of stuff like that. All he cared about was internet.
Internet.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
Let's see. Sunday.
I did, yeah. I'm gonna say
Let's
hi to
see.
y'all. What happened?
Huh? Oh.
I was about to say, how was it for y'all? What happened?
Sunday we did well, Valentine's weekend we took some time away from the family. We got a spot. She knows. Let me not do that. Sometimes we're adults and the kids and life and working this middle class life and shit. I want to get away. So we did that. We got a nice spot out in Friday night, Saturday night, binged a couple shows, ate some carbs. You know how we do. Watched Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a great movie. So spent most of what was that the weekend watching the Saturday, half watching the weather, half watching, fully watching the impeachment stuff, which was, I mean, yeah. Anyways, so he got acquitted, and then there it was. So Saturday night into Sunday morning, we're like, all right, in the morning we got to get out of here, check out early, and get the fuck on the road back home. Um, It was cool. I mean, we left. We stay in Taylor. We were on the other like 40 minutes away in Leander and shit like that. But so we took the slow trek home because the roads were already starting to ice up. Made it home with like minor issues. That's it. And then came in the house, and I don't think we lost power for a long time. The biggest thing is I know we lost internet on Tuesday, like all
Mhm.
day, and that was the biggest thing. But we maintained power. The one thing that got us was my mother-in-law. She had already started putting water away and filling the bathtub up with water. Which is if you ever have power outages situation, you still need to flush the toilet and boil water. So fill up your bathtub. We That's one of the big things to do when in situations like this. So we had lost water for a couple of days. Water fully finally came back on Thursday, Friday. But
Came back on where you can run it.
well, it was running like with full blast running. I might be telling this wrong, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I think we're still under the boil water notice. You before when we were in pre-production, before we started, y'all got the call in Houston that y'all have running water. Um,
Yes, Lord.
yeah, so it was a trying, like it the last year and a half. Like we keep saying, trying times, unprecedented times. I'm
Yeah.
tired of saying that. It's like what I remember laughing at older heads with like, man, we went through this, this, and this. I'm like, damn, what? Went to school uphill in the snow. Outside of all the other stuff of being black, this is just some added shit. COVID all last year, then weather like this. Like the snow was cute the first couple days, and then the
Oh yeah.
snowstorm became that the adolescence, the child that started talking back, and then it's like, nah, man, you got to get
Exactly.
out this house. Like, and then like it's just crazy, dude. Like, then like the shit with Ted Cruz, which is one of our biggest points we're gonna talk about. Um, how did you feel when you saw that stuff?
Um, I didn't feel any type of way simply because I don't believe or trust politicians to live the life that we live,
Mm-hmm.
care about the things that we care about, and suffer the way that we suffer. Every average everyday people in America are like in a class of their own. Politicians, generally, most politicians are in a class of their own. They feel like they're more of our betters than the people who's going there to serve us.
Right.
And then obviously they have the people that they fear, they look up to, and the people that they wish and endeavor to be, which are the super ultra rich who you know um, basically profit off of the suffering that everybody else got to go through.
Right.
And not saying good or bad. I'm just saying ultimately, like if your shares or your like bottom line increase 10 100-fold because of a pandemic, and we understand at the same time you have small businesses out here that are being wiped the fuck out. I mean, like completely gone, but yet um these like you saying jobs gone, jobs are gone, right?
Yeah.
And so basically you have all those different classes of people. So when I saw that, I was like, one, that was stupid. That was the
Optics.
stupidest thing you could have done. How dumb can you be? People don't understand when you go to be a politician or whatever the case may be, you're supposed to be a public servant. At this point, I'm getting to the point to be like, you can't be a politician unless you actually was like served. And I'm not talking about like just like you should not be a politician if you're not really serving the people. Like
Right.
to be a servant, you have to give up something.
Yeah.
That is absolutely absurd. The fact like you are literally you're going we're in a bad situation. The place that you serve, we're in a bad situation. You
Mm-hmm.
leave to take to be in a better situation. Now, taking your family to put them in a better situation, that's what I call being a dad. Cool, I got you.
Cool.
You solve the problem. You are the politician.
Plus, we'll put that in the plus column. Plus column, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. Like you come and you identify where we dropped the ball, and then you come up with solutions to how we don't have to deal with this again.
Right.
Like I never have a problem with people making mistakes. What I have a problem with is not learning from those mistakes. So that's Jesus. It is so hard.
Can I chime in real quick?
When I first saw it, I was like, again, and then
again. See, but no. We're gonna like everybody watching this. We're gonna back to that part, that feeling, that look in your face, being like, again. Like, why are we at this point?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
You're right.
What's your point? Go ahead.
No. I was just saying what triggered it for me is when he came back and gave that BS. Oh, I was being a good dad, taking my kids. You don't have to take your kids to Cancun. You have a wife who went with you. She could take the kids to Cancun. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you chaperoning your wife and your kids to Cancun? But then reports come out that before you even make this statement, reports come. Or I don't even before or after, because I kind of saw it kind of
real time.
Yeah. Like, but reports come out that you literally didn't have a flight back for almost a week.
Bro, did you see that bag that bag he packed? That's not an overnight bag.
Exactly. That's not overnight.
He had the Bermuda shorts. His wife had the culottes in there. You know what I mean? That boy was about to go hard at that buffet. Hard.
Yes.
And so we put that in the minus column. Like, I get that you're trying to be a good parent. Cool. You know, but also too, it's hypocritical. I mean, everybody's a hypocrite at some point. You're making policy on people who are trying to go get their family out of a bad situation into a better situation for survival. You know, that's peak what immigrants are doing coming into America.
Ooh, good point.
You know what I mean? Man, like, shit's tough here. We don't know what the next 12 hours are going to be. Let's find a way to pull these resources and get our kids to a better place. That's what you and me were thinking. That's all, man. Look, whatever happens, all this, like, my kids always ask me, "Are you scared of stuff?" And I'm like, yes. You know, I scare myself because what scares me is not being able to get them out of situations that would make them less confident in me and their ability to live through that situation. You know, it's the same thing as like checking under the bed for boogeymen. You know, we know the problem's not real, but we anticipate this, and we have to put on a strong front because we are observant not only to our spouses but to our kids, and they sort of expect that from us to be leaders in that capacity. Ted Cruz was not a leader in that capacity. Greg Abbott was not a leader in that capacity. Like, Doug, for real, how are you gonna say that the wind turbines failed us when, okay, you said that on Fox News, but you also said wind power, solar power was 10% of the problem. All right, so me and you both went to college in math. So there's 10%, there's 90%. What happened with the other 90%? Wasn't that the bigger problem? Yes. You know?
That got me. The simple fact that they didn't push back. You, in that same interview, the same exact like segment, you said it was solar, wind, renewable energy is 10% of Texas energy. And you also said some of the windmills froze over. So some of 10% does not call a statewide shutdown. Like, just a small pushback. Can we get that? Can we literally be? And I mean that for everybody. Anybody, like, if you're in news, you should be pushing these people to get to the truth. You don't take what they give you as facts because they're doing it in their best interest, and you should know this as news. And what you're doing, you're supposed to be fighting for the best interest of the people, which mean not fighting as an adversary, but fighting to extract the truth. If you're fighting to extract the truth, you don't care who feelings you hurt. You don't care about like all that other stuff. You care about getting to the truth so that the people are able to make a well and educated decision.
Correct. And like, I want to make this small caveat. when me and Anthony are talking about fighting, we're not talking about inciting riots. We're talking about
Never that. Nah.
because
No, no. I love this country too much, being real.
if you're going to use us for your impeachment 22 minutes video of us just saying fighting repeatedly, please don't. That's just a small disclaimer. Yeah, another thing too is like I get that everybody's on their team red, team blue. But so far, you can't.
I don't.
Like
I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
I hear
Because
hear me
it
out.
should not be. I go, okay.
I'm gonna get to my point. I hear that everybody's in their side, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter how hard you were thumping for Team Red or Team Blue. For that week, you were freezing your ass off. You couldn't take a shower. You didn't know where your next meal was probably coming from. You were cold. At that point, we as Americans, as a society, were in a point of crises that all that shit didn't matter. So that makes me equally upset when you get on the TV and you blame the Green New Deal, which is bullshit, you know, that you rejected. Yep. Then your constituents say this is what happens in Democrat-led places. Incorrect. Republicans have had the trifecta since Ann Richards was ran out of office in the late 90s, early 90s. Okay? You had the House, you had the Senate, you had the whole government or whatever in Texas. 10 years ago, they told you about this. Rick Perry was the governor, energy section. We could have had this taken care of. You failed to winterize stuff. That's on you. I'm sorry, we messed up. This is what we're going to do in the future. The minute you start blaming other people, then everything else loses credibility. You know what I mean? It's just
if you really want to lead, bro, people don't want to hear that from a leader. People don't want to hear, oh, because of this person over here who is not in our state, does not control our state. Texas is off of the federal grid because we didn't want federal regulation. Okay, cool. If that's the case, you need to lead by example and show the federal government how this thing works. You should always be above and beyond and better than the federal government. If you're leading by example, then this should not happen. But the fact is, you're leading by example in another way, which is the way to get the most profit. Extract the most profit out of the regular average everyday person into the energy sector. Which you see that, right? You can't say the boogeyman is AOC and the Green New Deal when the Green New Deal is not implemented in Texas.
Exactly.
This is a fucking red state, has been a red state for a very long time.
Yeah.
So there's no way that she even had a foothold in Texas. And you're saying it's the cause of the Green New Deal. How is it the cause of the Green New Deal when the Green New Deal is not implemented here? You didn't take any of those things of dealing with the Green New Deal into account when you came up with the policies and the regulations or lack of regulations in Texas. So how does that have anything to do with what we're talking about? But because they say it with conviction, and then they say it on these news stations that allow them to not be challenged.
Yeah.
People believe it. People take it as truth. But I'm like, no, look at what's happening. I don't care what you say the problem is as far as somebody who doesn't have influence on our state. Even if that's what you believe, how are we going to fix it? Because you didn't give an answer to that. What are we going to do about people who still had power or people who regained power now having jacked up prices just to have the luxury of having power because y'all failed to actually do what was required to make sure that we continue to have power and we was able to withstand like storms.
Just regular storm. But see, and that's the other thing too, because rolling blackouts don't just happen in the cold time. In the summertime, we have had series of summers where rolling blackouts happen. When I lived in Houston, same thing. Hurricane season is coming up. Everybody's seen what happened with the last couple of years with hurricanes. You can't depend on JJ Watt to keep making getting money for you. You can't depend on AOC to get money for you. And that's the other issue with Ted Cruz going to Cancun to escort his kids to to that place. Doug, you are the elected front-facing official in this state. You have the distinct voice and ability to garner funds and release funds to get this taken care of. Did you want to do that from Cancun? You could have. But then, like the
Mm-hmm.
optics of it, it just looks dumb. Why did you even think you could take that trip? Because he
Mm-hmm.
probably would have got away with it had it not been for
Yes.
TMZ and everyone else. I understand parents. It's cool. When the
Yes.
kids act up and you don't want to take them to Chuck E. Cheese, but you got that non-refundable deposit. Sucks, man, but you got to do it. But this is not that case, and the people
Facts.
defending him are saying stuff like, "Well, what did they expect him to do? Get out there and fix the pipes?" No, use your voice to get people to get these questions
Or defending
answered.
him?
Oh yeah, they're hardcore defending him. He went. The first thing he did was he went on Sean Hannity's show to defend him, and they were like, "Well, you're just trying to be a good dad." And as a man,
Hey, say so. This goes. I always have this freaking. This is my mindset. This is just where my brain goes to. How about you be a good dad by ensuring this does not happen to your kids or anyone else's kids, by ensuring
woo,
that these companies that's responsible for making sure we have power put in the safeguards to make sure we have power.
but Texas has this weird thing of being every man for himself. It's not the Wild Wild West. It's 2021.
Ooh,
We got
bro.
fucking Bluetooth headsets. You know what I mean? Like, I can talk to you via video chat. You know what I mean? We can do this. I can call somebody and have a drone deliver shit to my house. Fucking robots. Iron Man shit.
Bro,
But we
yes.
still
Facts.
are tribalistic enough to where your kids don't fucking matter more than my kids. What? You're the elected official. What do you think's gonna happen? People are gonna see you set the example. And for any young men watching, wanting to be parents, this is not how you be of service as a man. You know that whatever you do, and if you're in a position of power, that your decisions matter for everyone. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you take care of the people who don't have the means to take care of themselves. That doesn't mean that you're going out giving handouts. You have to put things in place to where that you take out the biggest barriers for people to have a better life for themselves. You know, and it's fucking crazy, man. Like my kid, he was thinking about his kids being cold, but what about the other kids being cold? You know what I mean? And
No,
they
so I 100% understand getting your kids out of a bad situation,
right,
because the same way I was telling everybody else, I said, like, being in the military, I've been in this type of cold environment for, like, hell, I remember not even a month ago, 2 months ago, we were in extreme cold weather, sleeping out of like buildings that didn't have like doors, windows, or some places didn't have roofs,
right,
right? Getting rained on and all that kind of shit like that. But it's kind of what I'm used to, and not used to, but I can deal with. I know how to deal through those types of situations. So if something would have happened like that, would have just me and Yada, then I'll be like, hey, I will teach you. We deal with this together, right? I will help you. You can vent to me. I will help you deal with this together. But my son, I am going to get him out of that situation,
correct,
and then you can't train a child to deal with that type of situation, right? So I understand sending his kids off. That's your kids. We don't expect your kids to solve the problem, or we
right,
don't expect your kids to be out here analyzing the problem.
right,
Send them off. Boom.
right.
Cool. You stay here and work.
Work.
You have a job to do. You keep talking about all these deadbeat people who want jobs and want to get paid, who want shitty jobs and get paid all this money. Well, how about you lead by example?
Man, the Domino's workers were there. You know, the fast food workers were there. The HEB employees were there. The Kroger's, the Walmart employees were there. You were on the trip to Cancun. Greg Abbott, he doesn't get any kudos for anything he's doing now. You're the governor. you you could have been
He don't get kudos, and your wife is right, because Ted Cruz was elected, not his kids and not his wife. They can go do what they need to do. They have to get out the situation. They don't know how to deal with it.
right.
They don't know how to pull themselves up out of their bootstraps.
No.
Cool, go ahead. Bound. No one is mad at you for doing that. What the problem is is the elected official, the person who's supposed to be here identifying these problems,
Right.
dealing with the suffering of the people that has elected you, he decide to leave too? No, you can't escape the problems that you create. Even if you didn't create it, as being being at that position, your job is to suffer problems that you probably would never have to suffer as a individual again. You're not an individual anymore.
Right.
It's called public service, and people don't get that.
Exactly, man. And it's like you feel like you're beyond reproach because you can you're this elected official, but goddamn it, like everything affects. You can't you you can't stop death. You can't blame Democrats for you dying. Maybe I don't know, whatever. But like the weather, this is something y'all could have took care of a long time ago. We can't keep claiming that we are don't mess with Texas, because we are this, that, and the third. We're this big bad conglomerate of energy and power and pride. All that shit went out the window. Just like we found out weeks ago, Blue Lives Matter went out the window. It's like 2021 is the great equalizer of everything that we, the little things that we held dear that some people do. Pride is a double-edged sword. But the way the stuff has been happening, hearing the stories of the 11-year-old kid freezing to death in his house in 2021, that shouldn't be happening.
Oh man, that hurt my soul. I saw a headline. I was like, oh,
right,
man, that hurt.
And you think about that, and Ted Cruz's daughters are 10 and 12. You don't think those parents wanted to get their kids out of that situation?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's just the arrogance of it is just, and then just, I get it. Do your tribalism thing, but this ain't it. You can't keep doing that when people's lives are at stake for something like this. And our leadership failed.
Once again,
I don't know what's gonna happen here on out, but they're out there taking their pictures. AOC's here. She's raised, I think, $3 million at this point.
Yeah.
Beto, the guy that nobody that they didn't want in, was doing more by phone banking and checking on the elderly. You know me. I have a special. Yes, we do have a 10-year-old, and I was thinking about that too. Like, what they're gonna happen? I don't want my kids to freeze. They were worried about the internet, but hey, we made it through.
That's what I said. Sir was over here. I'm talking about code, and he didn't say nothing about being cold. He didn't say nothing about I want to go. He said, "Mommy, can you give me internet?" I'm like, man. So kids can deal with a lot. And kids can be super resilient because they don't have the context of the world.
Right.
But and it was just.
But cynical adults, we was like, man, look, I know kids can put up with a lot, but we don't want them to put up with that. They shouldn't have to see, like, our kids have been through race riots. Like having to explain people dying on TV. Still, 2021, cold snap that put them without commission. My kids. Jimbo says, man, I'm lucky we don't have school. I was like, not really, man. I mean, because. Yeah, it's cool as a kid. You don't see the context of, well, shit, I ain't got to go to school. But, like, it shouldn't have to be like this. You know what I mean? Like, trying to find water for your kids in 2021, with all the technology we have. It's just dumb. The COVID is still a thing. Explaining to our kids lived through COVID, man, like a pandemic. We read about the Black Plague. We did the Ring Around the Rosie songs without no context. Like, it's crazy, and I don't know what type of trauma this is going to bring them. But the only thing we can do as leaders of our families is to make sure that they are okay. I mean, like, I don't know how to quantify it other than make sure they're okay.
My whole idea behind it is just to train them to deal with the impossible, but instill in them the expectation, like train them to deal with like the worst they could possibly have. Right?
Like emotionally or physically?
Both. I'm trying to do both, right? But then like instill into them that they like that the good times is what is expected.
Right.
This is only in the case that good times don't come.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or that good times break down, right? don't expect your life to be this, or don't expect your life to be extremely negative.
Right.
You prepare for the extremely negative, but you expect the greatest of outcomes in your life. And if that don't happen in certain situations, because everything can't be great in certain situations, this is the training that you're going to need to get out of those bad situations to get back to greatness. That's it.
I just want to say to any elderly people watching that keep saying we living in the last days, please stop. Because
because you're gonna be dead. We gonna still
because yeah, man, like, you know, hey, look, I'll get you the Starlight Peppermints, I'll watch Matlock with you, but please stop saying that. Like, we love y'all, elderly people, but stop saying that, you know. I'll read Psalms or whatever you want me to do, fuck it, you know, but stop saying we live in the last days. Oh, bro. Shit. Yeah. So let's get off of that.
Good note.
Let's get off of that. Let's talk about some